What's up, everybody? Joe Stroud here, conscious dating coach for men. And today I want to talk to you about a woman's time, attention, and presence, and her eyes and her availability. Okay? So if a woman is into you, she will give you those things. She will give you lots of her availability. She will give you her eyes. She will give you her presence and attention when you're with her. And her time, her quality time. You know, she's not going to try to cut the date short. She's going to forget about time. So I've just seen it time and time again. And the reason I bring this up is, you know, it can be easy to meet a girl and maybe go on a date with a girl and who knows, get a little physical, kiss her, whatever, all the above. But then it kind of gets into the zone of after the first date and a possible second, third, or fourth, like maybe you've gone on 2 or 3 and then you want to get the next one. I've been in this situation many times, and the truth is always there. It's in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding. There we go. But bottom line is, when you were with her, was she making lots of eye contact, or was she kind of darting around? You know, does she take long time to reply, and is she giving you some sense of availability? Meaning, how easy, from the time that you met her, this just hits it home right here. From the time that you met her, how easy was it to schedule the first date? Let's start there. How easy was it in terms of figuring out which day or like how soon? Usually from the time that you suggest it to the time that it happens, it's usually fairly quick, or it's a seamless process. Then there's some girls that the second date just seems to be out of reach. They are responding. They are flirting, maybe even sending some emojis. They're keeping it going. They are responsive by definition. But it's like suddenly, like, you know, when you schedule the first date, oh yeah, here you go, right here on my schedule. Second date, oh, it's my friend's birthday, and then it's this person's birthday, and then I've got this thing with my family on that day. So yeah, let's try next week. Boom, next week. Yeah, so it's my dog's birthday, and then, you know, I've got this other thing, and work is crazy, and it's just like, all right. So women will basically almost never, a lot of modern women will never straight up tell you they don't want to date you anymore. They will ghost, or they will just try to politely just kind of let things go and never agree to a second date. A lot of women are non-confrontational. They don't know how to tell, a lot of them don't know how to tell a man straight up how it is. They're just not feeling it, unless it just makes them cringe and they know for a fact they never want to see you again. Then yeah, of course they're going to tell you. If they just didn't feel it, probably because you did not create a connection or chemistry, which is what I'm going to talk about towards the end of this video. But you know, if that's not there, she has absolutely no reason to see you. But let's say chemistry was created and then she doesn't want a second date. This is due to a few things. She loves hyper independence and individualism and girls' night, going out with her girls, being like attached to that for most of her 20s or even early 30s, and that's cool. But if a woman in her early 30s is doing this, she really is just not into you, bottom line. Because if that's what she was looking for, some kind of partnership situation. But anyway, yeah, she's got to give you her time, and first of all, she's got to give you her availability and her time. But then when you're with her, where is she? Is she there with you? Is she like, you know, going into here, going into your eyes? Is she giving you her presence? Is she listening to the things that you're saying, or is she checking her phone? So a lot of these factors can be there, and this can give you the answer to, you know, what happened in the situation, essentially, to decode female behavior. So I've just seen, in the past year, I've seen both sides of this so starkly. You know, it's a stark difference. So like there's, you know, I went from, you know, a few girls I dated in Argentina who, you know, is like this next date kept being out of reach. Or when I'm with them, they're, you know, their eyes are all over the place. And this is nothing about like culture or Argentina or anything like that. It's just where I was. And then Brazil, again, I gathered more data. All these places and people, I'm just gathering data of like, oh, that's a behavior. Oh, this is a different type of behavior of someone who's showing something else. So then fast forward, I met someone later on in the journey this year, and it was the complete opposite. And, you know, she gave me lots of her time and attention and availability. And she gave me her eyes when I was with her, like lots of her eyes. And so your eyes are probably your best weapon. So one, showing your interest, you know, before you're gonna go talk, or even when you're on a date, or let's say you get an instant date. You meet her and then boom, you're just boo, and then you're part of a very good masculine trait is the ability to stand there with your presence. So presence is kind of one of these new buzzwords you've heard in kind of the dating space or even in the conscious and spirituality space. But I'm going to touch on what it means for dating and for men. If a woman feels that you're present with her, she feels that you're attentive. So which is going to make her feel safe and secure. That, okay, he's paying attention to me, to my needs, to what I'm saying. He wants to hear me, see me, and understand me. He wants to be around me. He's invested. But also, if you're paying attention to her, you're going to notice some of her needs and her tendencies, so then you can, you know, protect her or call things out. And that's a whole nother level is you have to, if you can call out a woman for her own behavior, that she knows that she might be maybe in the wrong, or it's not even about right and wrong, but about like, hey, this is just an observation I made. I noticed that when blah, 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 you know, for example, I was dancing with this girl at an ecstatic dance, and she had already kind of been like, you know, going through some growth, and then like, I was just talking about like ecstatic dance, and like, I was like, noticed that her hips were kind of like locked up. He's like, yeah, like, you know, with ecstatic dance, once you really learn to like use all the joints, like hips, shoulders, knees, ankles, and like kind of let it all just flow. And then she was like, oh, wow. And then like, she liked the fact that I pointed that out in her, and it allowed her to open and soften to me more. So, but there's more than just that. There's even more emotional, interpersonal type stuff that if you point it out and she, like when what you pointed out resonates with her, if it feels true to her, and you spotted it and she couldn't see it before, you've got her. Like she just feels safe with you. She's like, wow, I can trust this guy. He's looking out for my needs. And so just think about that. Even if you're a man and you're not you've never thought from this perspective, here you go. Okay, so that can only happen if you're giving her your presence and attention, but also if she's giving you hers. It's a two-way street, and so, you know, it takes two to tango. But it's your eyes are your biggest weapon in terms of what you have at your disposal. It's your weapon is the wrong word. It's your best tool to use, because one, it's presence, so she feels safe, but second, it's kind of this flirty sexual energy type thing. So if I just like staring, you know, kind of work my eyes, work my magic, you know, the blue steel, if you want to call it that. Yeah, like it's powerful. Like make it to the point where she has to look away first. You build the tension. Part of being grounded and owning your desire is like creating tension. Like, yeah, it's if you stare at somebody you don't know, then yeah, they're gonna be like why are you looking at me? You know? But if it's like guy girl and there's some chemistry there, then it's like, oh yeah, it's kind of an obvious thing. It's a non-verbal primal way to interact. But essentially from there you're gonna get a hot cold signal. I call this biofeedback. You're gonna constantly get everything you do, every time you look at her, every move you make, every word you say, you're gonna get biofeedback from her face of like, okay, did it land? Is that hitting? Is it resonating? Are we vibing? Are you catching my flirt? You know? So, okay, time, attention, presence. If she's into you, she's gonna be giving you those things. Plain and simple. There have been so many girls that I've dated that like, you know, we go on a great first date or something, and then it's like, and this is kind of a mistake too, but you know, everything you learn, but it's like, oh, let's do something tomorrow. Great, boom, we do it. And it's like the next day, oh great, boom, and it kind of turns into this thing, and it goes a little too fast, too quick. But I bring that up to talk about, like, you know, the availability piece. You know, those girls were very into me, and they gave me their availability. So the last part is, you know, going back with the eyes and kind of what I call going into a portal, or really activating the heart, which a lot of you men out there, the techie, nerdy, geekier kind of guys, no offense, but that's just who I'm speaking to, you don't know how to do this. You just don't. I've been working with guys like you as a dating coach for a while now, and this is a whole nother piece that I keep sharpening. I keep sharpening this part of my sword at this point in my life, with this specifically. But it's all about connection. You know, if she's not giving you time, attention, availability, her eyes, her presence, she is not even keeping herself energetically available to be able to connect with you, to go into a heart portal. And what I mean by that is, you stare into someone's eyes long enough and you speak from I in the present moment of, like, I feel this, or I like the way you look back at me, or I like the way you talk to me, or I like my times, you know, I like spending time with you. Boom. All those things, stuff like that, brings you to the present moment, which that's a whole nother bit right there. But if you do that enough and you make eye contact and both people are playing ball, giving their time and attention and availability and their presence, that is the only recipe where an actual connection can occur. In here, in the heart. An emotional connection, something 90% of you guys will never learn. No offense, but that's why I'm here. Or 90% of you guys do not have this tool yet. But if you do this enough, you'll kind of go into these portals. Like, you'll dive into this connection thing with this person. It's like if you've ever been in a conversation you can't escape. Not that you want to escape, but it's so good, it's so intense, it's so activating that it's like, well, which one of us is gonna, like, leave or break this? Because it's so good, and I don't want to offend that person for breaking it or doing something, you know, like, for having, you know, showing that I want to do anything else besides this, because that's how intimate it gets, you know. A lot of times it's like, all right, who has to go to the bathroom first? That breaks it, and then it's like that starts a new chapter, a new portal, a new page. But try it on the next date you're on, or even on the next approach. Look deeply into her eyes. Give her your presence. And the other key is, don't move too fast. Like, be still. Why? It saves your energy, and it hones in on your energy and what you're able to pick up on. So don't move because it's also like nervous behavior. Like, if you're just, you know, doing all this, I'm just kind of keeping my hair because, like, the wind, but you know, if you're sitting with someone, don't be fidgeting, hands in your pockets, don't look at your fucking phone unless you absolutely need to. So yeah, that's it. I mean, stare deeply, but create this heart portal. And if you do it the right way, the world around you both and her face is gonna, like, fade out of existence. I've seen this happen with more than one girl. And it can be psychedelic. It can turn your vision psychedelic when you're not even, like, on anything. Colors are more vibrant, and time slows down, and everything's richer, food tastes better, and then it's a journey. It's like a psychedelic trip in and of itself. So get ready if you do this the right way. But the first key is find women who are giving you their time, attention, and presence and availability. Because if they're not giving you that, what are you doing? It's a joke. They're playing themselves by still entertaining you because they want attention. A woman, her currency is attention, and the women are gonna hate this. But men want sex. It's just a thing. But we want it a little bit more than they do. But it's not that that's all we want, obviously. I'm actually, in my coaching, I try to teach all the ways to build a connection outside of just that. Because that's like men's primal default mode is the physical. It's like, oh, hot girl. Oh, yeah, I want her. And then it's like this caveman style way of going about it for a lot of guys. So I'm trying to help evolve modern men out from being a caveman as it relates to dating. And if you're a software engineer and you work remotely and you work from home and you don't talk to anybody all day, then you're like double caveman in terms of your social ability to connect with other human beings and get into the heart space and go on dates and, you know, be physically intimate with women for the rest of your life. So you could start that journey now, or you could wait and have this mental masturbation thing you do where you consume lots of content and you never take action, and then you maybe talk about it with your boys of like, oh, I heard this thing about dating, and like, okay, cool, but what are you doing? How about you go do some approaches, you and your friends, and then come back and talk about it. Don't talk until you've taken action. Try that. And if you want more support, I'm having a webinar here in just a few weeks on how to consciously approach women in real life without being creepy and without using dating apps. So if that's you, if you want to, get a free presentation, a free webinar and instruction on these types of skills and how to read all this stuff and things to do, what not to do, how and when to initiate, let me know. You can message me here, drop a comment, say, hey, Joe, send me those details, or message me on Instagram at _TheJoeShow_. Thank you guys. Signing off from Thailand. I will be this is Koh Phangan. I will be in Phuket very soon, and then gonna go to Vietnam after that, Philippines, Bali, and who knows after that. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.